Before any story, before any monster, before the first page of any book was ever written, there was something bigger, a hidden universe behind all of Stephen King's works, an invisible map connecting it, the Dark Tower, The Shining, Salem's Lot, The Mist, and dozens of other worlds. That place has a name, the Macroverse. Take a breath. The door is about to open. Stephen King never handed us the Kingverse fully formed. He scattered clues. In places like Derry, Castle Rock, and Jerusalem's Lot, there's always the same feeling, the same sense of something ancient beneath the surface, as if these towns were built on cracks in reality, places where the universe isn't as solid as it should be. Let's step through those cracks together. You can feel it in the movies too. The silence of the Overlook in The Shining, the distortion in 1408, the chaos that bleeds through Derry in It. None of these stories stand alone. They are echoes of the same center, the same heart. And the first echo begins with It. Pennywise is a fantasy, a convenient shape, a mask designed to lure humans, especially children. The true entity exists far beyond the clown. It is a creature of the Macroverse, a consciousness born in the Todash, the void between worlds. If that already sounds wrong, it gets much worse. It was not created, it simply appeared in nothingness. A walking hunger, a point of awareness where awareness should never exist. When it fell to Earth, it wasn't a choice, it was an accident, and that impact scarred Derry forever. From now on, you'll never see that town the same way again. The city feels wrong for a reason. It's infected. Adults don't see what's happening. Violence feels normal. Children vanish, and no one reacts. That's not human behavior. That's influence. A distorted emotional field created by its arrival. But chaos never exists alone. On the opposite end of it stands Maturin, a colossal turtle. Calm, patient, as old as the void itself. While it devours, Maturin sustains. While it thrashes, Maturin sleeps. In the books, it's said, Maturin vomited the universe into existence. And you're about to understand why that matters. Maturin does not fight, does not command, does not intervene. It exists as balance, as counterweight. If it represents chaos, Maturin represents creation. And that silent tension between them is what holds the multiverse together. That tension has a physical center. At the heart of the Kingverse stands the Dark Tower, a real structure, an axis piercing every universe. From Endworld, it rises beyond time, physics, and logic. If the tower falls, everything falls with it. Stories, worlds, reality itself. But the tower does not stand alone. The tower is held together by beams, invisible lines crossing worlds and eras. They connect everything, and at the end of each beam stands a colossal guardian. Creatures so vast, no adaptation has ever dared to show them. But that's for the next massive episode. Now you understand why it is so dangerous. It isn't just a monster, it's a flaw. A fragment of the Todash that slipped into the wrong place. The clown is only a comfortable interface. The real creature remains trapped between realities, ready to look at what was never meant to be seen. In the books, when Bill encounters Maturin, he realizes something terrifying. There are higher levels of existence. It doesn't fear Maturin because of strength. It fears Maturin because of nature. Maturin doesn't destroy. It stabilizes. And nothing terrifies chaos more than absolute stability. It, Maturin, Derry, the tower, the beams, all of it is one architecture, a living multiverse, where monsters are symptoms, cities are doors, and reality is fragile enough to bleed. Let's return to it, a masterpiece of fear, before the universe, before light, before time, before any concept of life. There was only the Todash, the space between worlds, living darkness, a place where nothing exists. And because of that, anything can be born. It was there in absolute silence that it emerged. It has no beginning, no parent, no creation. It appeared like a crack in the darkness itself, a point of awareness inside nothingness, a hunger that existed before there was anything to consume. In the Todash, there is no form, no body. What we call it is only a human interpretation of a presence that should not exist. When the films show tentacles, lights, teeth, impossible mouths, that isn't it. That's the human mind trying to make sense of the senseless. The true form of it can never be seen, because the mind cannot survive it. It's like staring into the sun multiplied by infinity. In the books, King describes only the deadlights, colors that never existed, radiance that tears consciousness apart. That is the core of it, what hides beneath the clown. When it fell to Earth, it wasn't an invasion. It wasn't intention. It was an accident. A supernatural meteor crossing the wrong reality. Derry wasn't chosen. Derry was hit, marked, infected by something that should never have left the Todash. In the films, Derry feels violent, numb, disconnected. Adults ignore the impossible. That isn't human behavior. That's resonance. Its presence warping everything around it. The city becomes an extension of the creature, an emotional hive, a corrupted energy field. At the center of all this was hunger, not for flesh, not for blood, but for fear. Because in the Todash, it learned something vital. Fear opens doors. Fear weakens the mind. Fear creates fractures. And through those fractures, it feeds. But it is not the only thing born of the void. It's just the most restless, the most curious, the most hungry. There are things in the Todash that never left, because they don't need worlds to exist. Creatures so ancient, so vast, that next to them, it is small. Yes, small. That's why, despite its power, it fears certain things. In the book, there's a suggestion that it fears Maturin, the eternal turtle, because Maturin embodies balance, and it embodies chaos. And in the Macroverse, balance always outlasts chaos, not through force, but through existence. Its fall into Derry was not the beginning. It was continuation, a disruption in the path of something that should never exist outside the dark. When the Losers Club faces it, they are not fighting a clown. They are confronting a fragment of the Todash, a piece of the before. That's why it returns, again, and again, and again, because its essence isn't on Earth. It remains in the Todash. The clown, the spider, the tentacles, all of it is interface. The real creature is still there, watching, waiting, hungry. And there is an even darker truth: it did not come alone. It is only one echo that crossed over, one among many, among things still waiting, listening, for reality to weaken. When you understand where it came from, the story changes. This was never about a monster haunting a town. It's about a rupture in the multiverse, a tear in the fabric of creation, a fragment of primordial chaos falling into a world that wasn't ready. Now that you know where it came from, you see the truth. It is not the center of the mythology. It is a symptom, a crack, a fragment of the Todash that slipped into our reality. The true balance of the Kingverse does not rest in monsters. It rests in the forces that hold everything upright, in colossal beings that sustain the beams, creatures so ancient, so immense, that even time dares not touch them. Among them, one stands above all. Maturin, the silent consciousness that has watched creation since before creation. The guardian who stabilizes the universe while beings like it try to corrupt every fracture. In the next video, we'll dive deep into Maturin and the colossal guardians of the Dark Tower. Who they are, where they came from, how they keep the multiverse alive, and why the fall of a single guardian could signal the end of every story Stephen King ever wrote. The story of it was only the beginning. The true scale of the Kingverse starts now. When you finally see the size of the beings holding reality on their backs, subscribe, because now, the channel has truly begun.